All right, let's bring in Bishop Garrison, co-founder of the Joseph Rainey Center for Public Policy, and also Republican strategist Brian Darling, founder and president of Liberty Government Affairs. To both of you, welcome. Bishop, good morning. Let's start with you. Are legislative efforts going to be stuck in a standstill until this impeachment process is over?
Absolutely not. Let's talk about impeachment for a second. Let's remember what this is about. Three things: the sanctity of our elections, our democracy, and our national security. That is incredibly important. Other legislation is not going to stop. Congress is going to continue to do its job, but it is of paramount importance that this impeachment inquiry move forward, that we get to the bottom of the president's actions.
Yeah, and Brian, so how do Republicans respond to that position? We just heard from Speaker Pelosi that the House has passed legislation and wants to keep it going and that momentum there, but it's up to the president to decide if it'll get anywhere.
I think that Speaker Pelosi is wrong. I think Speaker Pelosi is not seriously trying to legislate when you look at the fact that they are not interacting with the Trump administration on gun issues, on how to finally resolve the funding of the federal government. They just did a continuing resolution, but they need to go into it further. But we know what's happening here. The whole Congress is going to be sidetracked by talk of impeachment. Congress is now, even though that they claim that this is a clear and present danger to America, Congress decided to go on a 2-week vacation. So they're not going to do much over the next 2 weeks, and they're probably not going to do much throughout the fall.
Brian, the House passed gun legislation months ago. It already did that. It already passed it. To say that the impeachment inquiry is nothing else than politics as usual is ridiculous, and it's dumbfounding that people would even push that as an agenda point.
So, Brian, given that, what, if anything, do you think can get done while this whole process plays out?
I don't think Democrats want to get anything done. I think they are A-OK pushing legislation over to the Senate that they know the Senate can't pass. They know the president won't sign. It's all about
But that's
politics.
not on the speaker.
That's
not on the speaker.
Of course it is. We have a
How is that the
constitutional
speaker's fault
system
that come on. How is it the speaker's fault that Mitch McConnell won't move legislation forward? It's not.
Well,
we need to be talking to him and talking about him.
Basically, what you're saying is if you don't go along with the Democrats, then you're wrong. I look at
I'm
the
not saying that. I'm saying I want the Senate to do its job and the Senate leadership to do its job.
Well, we have a system where the president actually has to sign legislation. They're not going to sign this crazy left-wing agenda that the Democrats are pushing.
Left-wing agenda.
It's true.
When the majority of voters support background checks and support tougher regulations on guns, come on. Like, we've been hearing these talking points over and over, and they don't work. The president's doing everything he can to distract Americans right now from the fact that he tried to leverage the most powerful position in the world for his own personal and political gain.
So
Congress has been wanting to impeach the president since he was sworn into office, and
they've been wanting to impeach him ever since he started having criminal conduct, which is exactly what he's been doing. And I'm sorry, but I'm tired of the GOP trying to gaslight us and tell us otherwise.
Well, let's talk about this,
Democrats are trying to use Congress, the power that Congress has of oversight, to use all of these House committees
ensure people
to
are
do
held
research,
accountable,
opposition
Brian.
research for the next election, and that's what we're seeing right now.
All right, you know what? We could go back and forth and see who voters are going to blame if nothing gets done, whose party has the most at risk here. Let's forward this and talk about our top story this morning here, the new little nugget with the Washington Post reporting this morning that the State Department is intensifying the email probe of Hillary Clinton's former aides. So, Brian, to you, why hasn't the Trump administration let this one go? Is there a benefit, and what is it as far as bringing this out until the next election?
Well, it makes me uncomfortable. I mean, if you do read the story, it does say this investigation has been going on ever since President Trump was sworn in.
But the timing, especially given this impeachment.
Is suspect at best.
Agreed. No, the timing looks bad, but we're talking about 30,000 emails. We're talking about a lot of emails. It took a long time to get through it. I think a lot of career employees are going through it. I don't think it's all about politics, but I don't like the look of it. And again, you know, I don't want to get in a situation where we're criminalizing politics on both sides. I mean, Democrats are calling for the hammer to come down on President Trump because of this call. He released details of the call. It's an overreaction.
That were terrible for him. He released details that make him look as though he conducted criminal activity, Brian. He said, he literally said, I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
He literally said that. Brian, Come
What crime
on.
did he commit?
He leveraged his position as president in order to get a political favor in his own person, which is illegal
But you don't
under the
impeach a president for
FEC,
that.
under election law. It's illegal.
President Obama committed election.
No, this is not a
infractions,
both
too.
sides thing. Get out of here, Brian.
I
with
was
that.
hoping we could
Absolutely
talk
not.
about the email thing and ask you about it, Bishop, and also Hillary and Chelsea weighing in on that too. But we got to leave it at there. Would love to have you go at it a little bit more, but we got to leave it at that.
We would love to go at it more, but okay.
I can imagine that's the case. Bishop Garrison and Brian Darling, thanks so much for the early wake up, perk up.